Hello, and welcome back to Pints with Pals. I'm Mike, your host, and joined with me are Jeremy and Jason. Say hi, guys.
That's me. Hi, guys.
The other J.
Yep. Today's episode is something that I've been dreading, and you probably have heard me dread it for the entire... You can obviously see the title. Well, whoever's watching this can see the title. This is my least favorite episode thus far. Although I've been pleasantly surprised at every other episode, so yep. I decided to get the biggest possible can of something I'm probably not going to like. We are doing Bell's Two Hearted. And I've never had it. I stay away from IPAs and haven't, like, I haven't even like tried them because every time I try it, it's just like, it's out of my like flavor wheelhouse.
Fair enough.
I always tell the story when I'm explaining something to somebody. I don't know if you guys had those old Tupperware containers. My parents will get a kick out of this if they listen to this one. Those old Tupperware containers. My parents had a brown one, a yellow one, and an orange one. Well, they would put grapefruit juice in the yellow one, orange juice in the orange one. But when you wake up in the middle of the night and are thirsty and you go to grab one, the refrigerator light that's like blue makes both of them the exact same color. So when I was like just like asleep when I was a little kid, went to go pour like a big glass of orange juice because I was just super thirsty for whatever reason and got like a big old gulp of grapefruit juice. It just like, it was like the worst. It's like, to me, it feels like having orange juice after brushing your teeth is what grapefruit juice tastes like.
Colorblind, that's what it is.
That's what I didn't want to bring it up. But...
No.
Mike,
Nope.
is your shirt red?
Yes.
Or is it brown?
But yeah, so like that's the instant kind of feedback I get as soon as I like taste one of these. It's like that it brings back that piney grapefruity flavors and I can't explain why I don't like it, but I just don't. I've had grapefruit though. Like if you peel it, if you like cut it outside of the membrane part and just eat the fruit part, it's the pill.
I call it pith, but
yeah, pith.
Maybe it's, I don't know.
I'm not really sure what it is, but if you
Oh,
don't
get it on my mouth noise.
if yeah, so like if you don't have that, I like grapefruit juice. So
right.
But yeah.
Well,
Did anybody do anything fun this weekend? Or did you want to let's open these first and then we'll
that.
discuss because I have to drink a lot
So
of this.
I couldn't find my bottle opener, so I'm using my bottle opener, bottle cap catcher.
he'd have mounted on the wall.
It was mounted on the wall, but
You just took it.
But he needed it for now.
For now.
Well, it's very yellow. What's that cup again though that makes everything look like an amber?
I can't get that high. My camera's really high.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more orange than I was expecting. Orange in color. I got a little too much head.
It smells delicious. But I do like my IPAs.
Oh my god, it smells like an IPA.
Man up.
Well, let's see. This weekend, I actually ate a lot of tacos and margaritas. But on Saturday night, we ended up in Lawrenceville, which is a neighborhood in Pittsburgh, and went to I can't say, I'm gonna butcher the name, Lolev, Lolev, brewery. It was a very cool, like hip, but very like chill. They had like a DJ playing some just like dance music, but like no lyrics or anything. There weren't a lot of people there. It was the Taylor Swift was in town. I don't know when this episode will be posted, but Taylor Swift was here all weekend, and I guess that kept people away from some of the other neighborhoods. But they had an unfiltered Pilsner, which I have to ask Jeremy about now, what that means. And that was good. It was a bit stronger than a regular Pilsner, so maybe that's what the unfiltered means. At least to me. And they had their cream ale, which was delicious. I ended up bringing some home.
The unfiltered part is where they just didn't run it through any kind of like mesh to clear out any of the visual matter.
So okay. So it still tastes this. It would taste the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem, Mike.
Oh, that's delicious.
I think it's good. I think it pairs well with pizza. I think it's a good pizza beer. I really do.
So what'd you do this weekend, Jeremy? As you're the
So Saturday, did a surprise for my wife and child. We went to a duck pin place that just opened up in Bristol, Tennessee, back in December. So I was talking to one of my homebrewers about Cincinnati, that's where he's from, and talk about like Penn's Mechanical and stuff like that. It's like I said, I wish there was one within 2 hour radius because we got some of my kids live in Knoxville, some live down South Carolina. And he's like, oh yeah, there's one in Bristol. I'm like, no, I've been searching forever. He's like, oh yeah, there is. They just opened it up. So I kept the big old secret. We drove up there, and I kind of drove past it. We drove down the street, parked this parking lot, and we just walked up into it. And of course, the look on Rhonda's face, and Nathan, he was confused with Rhonda, which is super exciting because we had so much fun when we were up in Cincinnati. So we did that for like an hour. I don't remember what it cost. It was fairly. I felt like it was cheap. It was like $45 an hour. We got if we didn't eat food while we were playing, we probably could have played 4 games easily. Okay. We got 3 games. Nathan won 2, I won 1, so it was a good time. And then Sunday was Father's Day, so I got spoiled. Went fishing twice yesterday. Went like mid morning, and then went in the evening. I didn't catch nothing. Nathan caught just a little 4.5 inch, 5 inch little bluegill, which was fun. I made ribs. Rhonda, my wife, made me some loaded baked potato salad and homemade apple pie and homemade cornbread. That's what I wanted. So yeah, I was definitely spoiled. So yeah, it was a good time. Drank a lot of beer. Drank a lot of beer. I found some Hellas, and I was just crushing them all weekend.
Nice.
So.
As I'm talking about tracking my beer on my calorie app, and you're talking about all this excellent food, it's like I can't eat that right now.
How about you, Mike? What'd you do?
The funny thing is we had ribs also, but they were boneless, like rib caps or something. I don't really understand. I'm not a rib person because I don't like. I never used to like grizzly meat, so it was kind of gross to me. But I've gotten over that apparently, because they were delicious. But that was Sunday. We had my wife's father over for Father's Day, and then Saturday we went to our cottage on the river and hung out with my dad, and I drank a bunch of bourbon. No. No. A couple of trucks. There were no vans down by the river.
So
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nope.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
So what all did you do with your dad and stuff like that?
We had somebody's one of my cousin's kids had a graduation party, so it was right by the cottage. So we went there for a few hours, had a barbecue buffet kind of thing, and then we came back and we made hamburgers that we got from the butcher shop by our thing, and they were probably an inch thick, and they were stuffed with jalapeno, bacon, and cheddar. They were just all mashed together, and they were so tightly packed. But because of the cheddar, I was nervous about grilling them. So my dad had a skillet, a flat skillet. So basically turned it into a
flat iron.
Yeah, the flat iron things, whatever the hell those are called. The griddle stone. I don't know.
Yeah, Blackstone. I think
Blackstone. Yeah. So it turned it into one of those, and then I seared them basically, and they just they turned to this golden color, all the stuff kind of oozed out and then caramelized on it. It was probably the best hamburger I've ever had that I've made anyway. And it was pretty awesome. That was fun. We had a lot of bourbon. Tried some. So what I've been trying to do is finding a lot of the good barrel aged beers that I like are done with Blanton's, Weller's, Eagle Rare, and then a few other ones. So I've been trying to find those ones, and I finally got a Eagle Rare, was the bourbon that I was able to try and find. I actually really liked it, so that makes sense because I like those beers. But I think that Blanton's and Weller's, everything that I've heard of people saying about those, that they're a little bit, they got famous, so now they just charge more, and they're not much better. You can find a younger bourbon for about the same quality, but cheaper. But yeah. Alrighty. So what are you guys?
What flavor notes are you getting from this, Mike? Since you're the one that just doesn't like IPAs, which is fine.
It doesn't smell as grapefruity as
right
as I'm used to. It definitely hits it hits I would say about halfway back on my tongue when I drink it, and that's where like it
Mhm.
triggers some kind of like want to spit it back into the
Sour.
cup. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I mean, you do like the blackberry IPA from Heron, which is about half the IBUs of this. This is 50 or 60?
60. Yeah.
60. And I think Heron, the blackberry IPA is 25.
Yeah.
So this isn't as bad. The initial smell out of the can was way more hoppy than it
Oh,
is
yeah.
like than it just like it
fades
definitely
real
like
quick.
faded real quick, and I
Mhm.
don't, because my nose isn't getting that smell, I'm not getting that flavor as much anymore
Right.
either. It just keeps
So for
filling
my-
back up though.
Right. Well, I was smart this time. I got this one bottle.
Yeah.
So, like, what I get is I get citrus. I don't get no grapefruit. I really don't. I get
I don't
citrus and
really
I get a little
either.
bit of
I
pine.
could only smell it. Yeah.
I get a little bit of pine.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like a medium carbonated beverage for sure. I think it washes down really well. Like it doesn't linger for a whole long. Like
Doesn't
some of
stick
like
to you. Yep.
yeah, some IPAs would just. I feel like they coat your tongue and they just stay there, and you can set it down and you can talk for 10 minutes and you still taste it. Like
Yeah, I
this
think
kind of
that's
goes
like
away
a
for-
drier, like maybe a drier IPA would do that.
very
And
well it could be.
I guess I don't really know enough of the differences between the IPAs, and I feel like, as we've discussed many times, IPA is just like it's like the flavor of the month, essentially. Like every place has one, if not three. Every brewery will come out with one, except for like, never mind. When I was in Europe, there were no IPAs.
No IPAs.
Yeah, basically you couldn't find them anywhere. Like if you found
I've heard
them,
that
it
in
was
a
like
podcast before. It's kind of hard to find an IPA over there.
Yeah.
if it was like it would have been like an Americanized bar essentially. I did see one American bar, which was weird to see. We didn't go into it because it was really expensive. I think actually because I think that they wanted like $12 for like a half a liter, or not a half a liter, half of a half liter, so 2.25. I don't know, whatever the centiliters, 25 centiliters. Yeah, it was like $12 for a beer essentially, and I was like,
Wow.
nope. And it was like Bud Light, like imported. I'm like,
Right.
yeah.
So I think you were trying to bring up like what are some of the subtle differences, and like you were saying earlier, IPAs there's so many different variations, and one podcast would never do it justice. And of course, we're going to try probably a plethora of different types of IPAs. So I just
Sorry,
wrote down
Mike.
some notes about between the English and American. So if you know, the English were the ones that came with IPAs. And the short history thing is they were trying to ship beer from England over to India, they would try to increase this hop flavor characters. Hopefully it'll last longer because it could take anywhere from a few months to multiple months to get from England to India. And so let me back a little bit. So before they did that, by the time they get there, the beer was usually just bad. Wasn't any good.
That's
So
what
the
this
question I always
tastes
asked, right? The question I always had, like, how come they just never made beer in India? Why transport it all the way from England all the way there? Why didn't they just bring some of the technology with them and make stuff there? But I've not done my due diligence on it. Maybe next time we talk about IPs, I can look into it a bit further. But with the English variation of it, it's going to be more malt forward, more toffee. They have their own variation of yeast that us Americans we don't really utilize that much, so it brings more fruit notes forward. Where the American style is definitely more bitter, as you might can tell. It's definitely usually has more aroma. Like I said, this aroma definitely dissipated rather quickly. I feel like a lot of them usually don't. They can stick around for a while. Like I said, I think it paired really well with pizza. But one thing I've learned in the last few years of being homebrew, or last couple of years anyways, like IPAs are like the style. Like you have people that will make the purest of German styles and make this style, that style, but overall, like everybody makes some type of IPA just because it sells, and a lot of people like IPAs. It's just one of those things that sell really, really well.
Do you think you can
And you
hide?
can do whatever you want. That's kind of crazy. Oh,
Do you
you can hide off flavors.
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say
sure.
because that was like the brown ale thing you were talking about. That's like something that's an easy, quick first recipe because a lot of, and I feel like brown ales, like what's the main brown ale?
Newcastle.
Newcastle. That one I think has like a bitterness to it too. So I feel like there's a lot of like when you add bitterness, like in an IPA, I feel like you can hide other flavors or add other flavors, maybe not hide, but
I think it's
like,
more ad, probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't hate
So I
it.
feel like, yeah. I find this a little sweet myself. Like not necessarily malty, but like has like this sweet that I get more like in the back of my jawline.
Mhm.
Again, I'm trying to describe this for one of our viewers, your dad, who
Good
says he wants
Kevin.
more description. So
Yeah.
Ah,
He is. My dad is a very. He'll seek out the IPAs, and he just found that he likes tangerine, like a tangerine IPA.
Okay.
Three Floyds makes one. They have Four Giants is a Three Floyds IPA, and they added tangerine to it. I don't remember if they named it something different, but it's just like basically tropical Four Giants or something like that. And they also found one from Stone Brewing. Stone Brewing has like a 12 pack of 4 different IPAs. He was like, I can get the 12 pack for $12, or I can get the 6 pack for like $8 or $9 of just the one beer that he wants. And he's like, the other beers aren't terrible, but I think he got them from like Costco or maybe Kroger. But but he's like, yeah, I don't mind the other ones, but he said he really likes that other one and he can find it everywhere. So like it's a tangerine. So I'm not against doing this. I don't think I'd want to like drink an entire batch of these, but I wouldn't mind or an entire case of these, but I don't mind trying them to find out. Because what we've discovered is they're not all the same, because I do like, and if I would have never tried it, I would never know, the blackberry IPA from Perrin, and then they have a cherry IPA. The cherry one is a little bit more sweet, and the blackberry one has a little bit of a bite to it, which is like kind of like that sweetness in the back of your throat kind of thing. So, and then we found the cream, I forget what it is. I
Oh,
never can
the
find.
strawberry milkshake one.
Yeah. So a milkshake IPA, I don't understand, but then it's just like, then it's at some point they're just like, this is an IPA. So it's like, well, how much of an IPA is that really? So
No, just not IPA in the traditional sense. They may use a lot of hops to build up the IBUs, which is international bitter units, is what that means. And it just kind of like how much of the alpha acids that are come from the hop cones and goes into your beer. Because without that stuff, we would just be drinking sweet fermented beverages, right? It'd just be really sweet stuff, malty, toffee flavor stuff you need. So that's why they add hops, is to kind of balance that profile out.
yeah. What about you,
What do you
Jason?
think?
What do you what are you picking
yeah,
up?
I'm just. I mean, definitely, I do get pine, citrus. I agree. I don't get. I don't know what you said now. I agree with Jeremy on that
Grapefruit.
one. Grapefruit. Yeah, I don't get any grapefruit. I do. I love grapefruit, and I'm not. I mean, someone else. I mean, someone else who's more of a connoisseur probably would tell me I'm a fool, but I don't get much of it. It's. I mean, I could drink this every day. It's one of my favorites. With that said, it's also 7%.
I was
So
just about to like,
it's just,
it's in like giant, like
right.
7%. And I was like, oh
Yeah. Like a one, sure, start the night off, eat my pizza, as Jeremy was saying, or whatever, a burger, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's if it's got to be cold. I put it in the freezer before I opened it. If it warms up, I can't drink it. It definitely gets an off taste if it's
Yeah, it does, yeah.
and you know, we got the big 20-ounce cans. Gotta drink it fast, I guess. But it's hard to drink in the summer. I mean, it's refreshing, but yeah, once it starts warming up, it's I don't know. I don't like it. I
I
like
feel
it.
like it definitely just gets bitter. Like I
Yeah.
can't describe it, but it's just a very bitter flavor. Have you guys tried the? Well, obviously Mike has it because it's the first time having this one. But I guess Jason, have you tried the light or Two Hearted Light or whatever it's called, like the lighter
All
version
day
of it?
IPA?
What
I
was the difference?
feel no. It
Was
was
it Founders?
like no, it
No,
was too hard.
it's by Bell's, but it's just
Yeah.
like light Two Heart or whatever, something like that.
Half-hearted?
That's what it is.
Is it?
Okay.
I think it sounds right. I don't think I have.
Okay.
Because it came out and it was hard to find when it first came out, and then I'm always back and forth. I've just never picked it up. I've never seen it here, but Two Hearted you can find literally anywhere. It is every state that they can distribute to it, you'll find it.
It's
Like,
called
when I was-
lighthearted. Is what it is.
Oh, lighthearted.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I like half-hearted better.
That's how I do my job.
Yeah. It was the one beer that I've moved around a lot in my life, but you could always find it, and no matter what state you're in. I mean, Jeremy, you said it was annoying to find down where you live. You had to go to a couple different stores, but
Yeah.
I found it here. I just walked into a grocery store and just they had it in, like on the end caps where they have like a cooler, like, oh, a Pepsi or a Coke, and like, no, it's full of Two Hearted. So, I think the billboards in Michigan, it would always advertise it as the number one IPA, even though it's not an IPA, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason is the color's off, right? That's why it's not it's not a traditional IPA.
They call it an IPA. It's what they label it as. So,
But it wins every year. I don't know if it
No.
still is, but number one ranked.
well, so Mike might like the lighthearted IPA. So maybe next time we could try that, like a little down the road. Because it's half of everything. So it's half the ABV. It's only 4%. The IBU is 36. Has more malt forward, it says, or more malt balance. So you may like that something a little bit better.
Yeah, that
or
sounds.
Again,
that
if
sounds
we do a
about right.
second season of this stuff, if we ever get that far, we could do a compare side by side. We'll do like the Two Hearted and the light and see what the difference is. That way, it'd be kind of fun, I think.
Yeah, I think it would
Yeah.
be fun to do like a special episodes like in between these or whatever, in between, like maybe if we do seasons or whatever, to do like the light beer challenge, like get one of like the top 3 or 4 light beers, and then have our significant others basically pour them out into different glasses, and then try each one and see if we can pick out the differences. And if we know, we have to have them coordinate though, and like have like a glass with like an A on it, and they have to all put the same beer in that one, so that we know
for
what we're trying. But yeah, that'd be
so
fun.
we'll have the girls talk to each other.
Mhm.
And they'll probably mess it all up. They'll give us like tap
girls.
water with it.
It's like, this is Bud Light. Nope, that was tap water. Oh. Yeah.
And they give us Bud Light, like, no, that's still tap water.
We could also do, even talking about this Stone Brewery, the 4-pack of IPAs. You could do like just try them all, have them all laid out. Maybe we can just split a can. I don't know if we all need to drink 4 cans of alcohol.
Right.
No, I'm a big fan of Two Hearted. I'm glad you're drinking it, Mike. Even though maybe you set it down and it's just you're drinking water at this point. But...
Getting real tough.
Yeah.
Tell you, man, pizza or burger, dude, it's really good. Especially, I mean, again, you can want to drink a lot of them, but like a nice hot summer day, I think they do good. I think they go down smooth. But I was the same way. I didn't like IPAs at all until I started getting into more craft beers, I would say.
This one isn't as bad. The more I drink of it, the less it has the IPA flavor. I've had some that are so like hit you in the face with it that it's like the IBUs are like, I don't even know how high that goes, but it's very high.
High as they can. I've seen 120 IBUs.
Wow.
Well, even as Jeremy said, some of them just stick to your throat, and you're just chewing on that the whole rest of the night. It's like, I'm still tasting this beer, and you can't get it out of your mouth.
Yep.
Now, what I'd like to do, and I don't know if we can ever get Mike to do this, but Dogfish Head, they're 60-minute, 90-minute, and they have 120-minute IPAs, which are not only strong ABV, but they're pretty bitter.
Okay.
But I don't know if we can get Mike to do that.
I'll do anything once, because I feel like you can't.
You gotta rule it out.
Yeah,
that's the
you
whole
can't
thing.
knock it, and it's like I feel I don't know, when they like the bar that I went to, they had he said it was an IPA because I was trying the stuff on tap, and he's like, most people don't like it, and then he handed it to me, and both like the smell, like the initial smell was very IPA, but the taste wasn't there. Like I not it wasn't there, but it wasn't as strong or bitter or whatever. So like,
Right.
even my wife said that she was like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be for an IPA.
Bad. Stop.
Well, because I
Stop
think
it.
that when you're like, well, for when somebody mishears you when you're ordering something and you're like, I don't like IPA, and all I heard was I like IPA. It's like, oh,
IPA.
try this one. I'm like,
Or just
no.
IPA. That's all
Yeah.
they're- IPA.
So then like
Yes,
they just
get rid
keep
of it.
handing you like IPAs that or things that taste like that. I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go somewhere else. I'm sorry. I didn't like any of your beer.
No.
But
Well, I
yeah.
also feel like you could. So it goes back to like home brewing, right?
Yeah.
So you have like these different stages when you add hops. So usually at the very beginning of your boil, you throw your hops in. That's your bittering hops. So to get that really pungent citrus or grapefruit or pine or whatever you go for, you're gonna put that right in there, right at the beginning. You're gonna want that hit hard, and then you have the middle area which may add some more like different flavor profiles, some smells, blah blah. Then you have like the last maybe 5 minutes. That's just aroma. That's where they just kind of hit you in the face like this is what you're getting. And you smell it. Ooh, either you're gonna like it or you don't like it. And so that's probably what that one was. They may have done just enough bitter and hops to cover up like the sugar flavor, but added more of the aroma hops towards the end. If they want, maybe they like more of the smell than they actually like the.
Yeah, it's like your
bitter taste.
Schwartz beer that was confusing to me.
No, that's very very weird. Yeah.
I will say, Jeremy, I got for my birthday, I got I think it's Homebrew Simulator or something for the computer.
Okay.
And I was playing it and I'm like, oh, so this is what Jeremy does. except when I have to clean the stuff, I just put it in the sink and hit E and it just cleans it. I don't actually have to do the work. But it was interesting. They were talking about like the final gravity of the beer that I made. And I think I didn't make it an IPA, and yeah, they added the hops right at the beginning to, I guess,
for
however it
bittering.
works. Yeah.
No. So you got your alpha acids and blah 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 blah, that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, I'll get nerdy one day again.
I'll learn stuff someday.
Yeah.
Speaking of home brewing, I know that we had discussed this earlier, but did you have a recipe that you would use?
So yes, I would just buy theirs, just like I recommended for the Obrons. They already know what they're doing, so why come up with your own? There's other companies that make their own clones, but if you have enough friends to help you drink your beer, sure, try them all. But yeah, I would just buy theirs, and theirs doesn't seem too hard. It's just 10 pounds of 2-row malt, 3 pounds of pale malt, 8 ounces of caramel, 40 level bonds or whatever it's called. That's probably why we get that nice little interesting color that we have. We don't really call it caramel, but it's close. We like caramel, maybe maybe
Mine looks red.
butter or something. Look, yours looks red.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see how much hops they use. They use total 4.75 ounces of hops. So I'm willing to bet the first one is 3.5. That's probably right at the beginning, right? That's probably right. I would say that's your beginning boil hops, and then the last two is probably, like I said, like somewhere halfway in between the last 5 minutes or so is the other ones.
There's a Centennial.
Yep, just one hop. Yeah, just one hop variety too, which is just a very popular American hop. Actually, I think a lot of it's grown in Michigan, or there's quite a few grown in Michigan. 5 ounces of priming sugar, so that's basically that's for if you're going to bottle it yourself. So you don't need that if you get a keg system. You just keg it, just be done with it. One thing this kit does say that it does not come with any yeast, so you have to buy your own. And they recommend some on their website. I didn't jot that stuff down. You can probably go check that out yourselves at least. And it's not bad. I think it's like $35. I mean, it was cheap, or $30, one or the other. So not much at all.
So does it seem weird that they're willing to just basically give out their recipes?
No, not at all. Because I guess the former founder, Larry Bell, he was a home brewer forever, right? That's what he did. And then he just kind of went through their whole process of being a home brewer. I think they had their own store for a while. They sold homebrew and then started making beer there. And they eventually just made his own business. Sadly, he retired and sold it to someone help me out.
I thought it was a Spanish company.
I think the Spanish company was Founders.
Oh.
I think it's a Australian company.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't remember.
I could totally be wrong.
That's fine. But yeah, so they sold it out a little over a year ago, I want to say, because for unknown reasons that I don't know the real reasons. I have speculations, but I won't go into that right now. But yeah, no, so it's not that odd. I was actually kind of surprised like how many just breweries you can go to, and if like the head brewers there, sometimes you can ask them, and they'll give you the recipe, and sometimes they'll even give you the yeast that they use. Because like I don't think they're scared of you stealing that their recipe, because trying to recreate that, it's like that's the most challenging part. Like I can make a great beer today, and we all like it. I send it out to be judged. I score phenomenal on it. I do really really well. I make that beer again. I make it. I go through all the same steps. So let's say I mess up something somewhere, like maybe I'm 2 degrees above something. It's a totally different beer.
Right. Like that could just be the temperature outside fluctuates enough.
Yeah.
To where like you're doing it in the spring and then you do it in the summer, and now you have to like lower your temperatures and stuff. When we were at and I think we forgot to bring this up last week because it was kind of packed because we had so much stuff, but when we were at Dark Lord Day, we ran into one of the guys that we were with was actually like worked at a brewery and stuff, and like had a bunch of like thoughts on like brewing. I forget where he worked, but I don't
Atwater.
I don't really want to say because in case he gets
Out of Detroit.
He didn't work at Atwater.
not water.
I don't know his name anyway. Well, I do, but it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
but
not water.
so
We're not affiliated with anything, and he's not, so it's fine.
Yeah, all 27 people, I'm pretty sure, aren't going to know him either. Actually, nope. I'm pretty sure one of our buddies doesn't watch this either. So, but I just thought that was kind of cool to like get his perspective on stuff. He's not a brewer or anything, but he worked with brewers, and kind of like could discuss enough in depth that was kind of fun to like talk to him and stuff. Working in a professional setting. Yeah, he was saying that Atwater got bought, or they merged with another company, and because they're now, instead of just being a smaller company, they're like everything is scrutinized. So like they literally have to send their beer off to get tested like at every stage of everything, so they can't just like play around with the recipes and do whatever they want because it's all just all micromanaged. But then he said that that's twofold. He said that you basically, it sucks because of that aspect of it, but then you have all the cool stuff, like the cool, like digital hydrometers and all that kind of crap too, that you would get from a major corporation's money that they throw at you.
I think just the supply chain, right? Like,
yeah, that's what he was saying too, is like all of the
distributed
varieties and
throughout the United States.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, not like coming in too, like he has the opportunity to get like basically anything he wants, and then they can send it all over the place. So that was pretty awesome.
It was Molson Coors that bought them, and it's an Australian company that is buying Bell's, or however, I don't know if they're buying or getting the majority shares. I don't really know, and it's some Japanese subsidiary. I don't know. So it's all over. It's any
nothing changes. That's the problem.
Well, right, that is the thing. And I don't think Larry Bell would do that to his company or his people. So. But I think they laid people, or something happened during. I shouldn't be talking, but like, I don't want to say stuff, but I know stuff was a bit, crazy with the pandemic and all that, and stuff was closing. But I think I don't know. I love Bell's, so.
Yeah, I feel like that hit a lot of, especially breweries, very hard. Like Founders actually end up closing their Detroit one because they just couldn't get the foot traffic because nobody's going into Detroit as much anymore.
Right. Well, that location, to be fair, was beyond sketch.
Yeah.
That was very beyond sketch because, like, yeah.
Yeah,
we'll look up on off air.
Yeah, I don't want to. We don't have to get into the geopolitical dynamics of Detroit. I don't know. A lot of it the proximity to LCA, and stuff was supposed to go crazy because they're moving the arena there, and then it never happened. A lot of real estate just sat. People just that parking lot next to Founders, that just sits, and the guy charges whatever $25.
It wasn't a parking lot until like after COVID. I think they finally like, oh, we can make this empty lot a parking lot and charge people like $20 a day to park there.
Yeah.
Anyhow. And on that note, I think we've hit the wrapping up point.
Yes.
Stay tuned if you want to find out more about the geopolitical climate of no.
Don't do that. We're not going to talk about that. That was.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I just I wanted to say thanks everybody for tuning in, and don't forget to have a pint with your pals.
Be sure to drink responsibly.
And like, comment, and subscribe.
I'm empty.
Oh,
Cheers.
cheers.